Punk Revolution now. Today we are going to be discussing Sewerslvt, an artist who has really gained a ton of popularity this year. She makes atmospheric drum and bass and electronic music that, you know, it's really cool music, but right now she is totally under a lot of criticism and is pretty much in the process of being canceled. And this is a really spicy cancellation. There's a lot of debate. Should she really be canceled? Or why are people not canceling her? We should stop supporting her music. Lots of confusion about what really happened, what didn't happen. It's causing a lot of discussion. I'm just gathering what I'm reading on rateyourmusic.com, twitter.com, and also from discussions with Sewerslvt herself to kind of put it all together. I wanted to do a little video on it. If you personally decide from this video you want to stop listening to Sewerslvt, that is totally understandable. I'm not here to defend her actions. If you decide that you are still going to listen to her and that you forgive her, that's also cool. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to give my perspective, but really it's up to you. And I'm certainly not going to defend her actions because a lot of it is really offensive. The biggest thing that seems to be driving this whole cancellation is the resurfacing of an album that Sewerslvt released under a different name, Sad Boy Sheldon, back in 2017 on YouTube, on Bandcamp, whatever, that is literally just titled The N-Word, ending in the letter Z, supposed to be a play on the word Gorillaz, the band name Gorillaz, you can tell by the album artwork. Let's get the obvious out of the way. This is extremely offensive, extremely immature, really stupid, and really cringe, and if you just want to stop listening to Sewerslvt altogether because of this, I totally understand where you're coming from. It's a pretty shitty thing to do, without a doubt. There is another perspective that says, well, this was uploaded in 2017, so Sewerslvt was probably around 16 years old at the time. And just for a little perspective, in 2016, when you're 16 years old on the internet, on YouTube, you are going to be exposed to a lot of very influential YouTubers who also use the same offensive language. If you're a young, impressionable teen and you want to fit in with YouTube's horrible, shitty, cringy, edgy culture, you might feel inclined to do something like this. Not saying it's okay, it's not okay. It's just a little context that we have to remember this is a 16-year-old teenager who is being fucking stupid and being cringy and being offensive. That is something that a lot of 16-year-olds do on the internet, and Sewerslvt totally owns up to it and agrees that this is fucking cringy and gross and stupid and offensive, and she highly regrets it. And there is also one more really important piece of context that I think a lot of people are totally forgetting about, which is that Sewerslvt is Australian. And Australians are fucking stupid. Australians are fucking massive dumbasses, especially when it comes to the topic of race. Australia has a very different history of racism than the United States does, a very different history with the N-word, a very different history with blackface. That stuff is way less offensive, or at least is perceived to be a lot less offensive in Australia. So when you put it all together, this is an Australian 16-year-old edgy teenager on the internet, on YouTube, in an era where this cringy edgelord stuff is thriving, and unfortunately to this day I still see it. I see in the comments section all the time, it sucks ass. That's just the reality of this. There's a subculture of it on YouTube, and unfortunately it looks like Sewerslvt, when she was younger, got sucked into it. To Sewerslvt's credit, she has apologized. She seems really upset that she hurt her fans, really regrets it. She has refunded fans that were hurt by this. So honestly, I think Sewerslvt has handled it to the best of her abilities, but the bottom line is it does suck ass, and if you think it's unforgivable regardless of the context, I understand that completely. And let me just state the obvious here, I'm not black. It's not up to me to tell you whether using the N-word in this context or that context is too offensive or not offensive enough. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I just want to give context. I want to give all the facts here so there's no confusion. Another thing that's going on simultaneously that's adding on to this cancellation are accusations that Sewerslvt used samples of suicide and possibly even worse, samples of child pornography in her music. Now, she denies she ever sampled child pornography in her music. She says she sampled an interview with a pedophile, which, you know, is still pretty edgy, pretty disgusting, but not going as far as sampling child pornography. Who knows what's true and what's not true? I don't don't know. I haven't looked into it. I'm not gonna, I don't want to waste my time researching that, honestly. Bottom line is that this is, you know, she's got a history, obviously, here of doing some pretty edgy aesthetics in her music. I'm not here to defend it, but I think there is some pretty important context that needs to be shared here. Again, the context doesn't excuse it. I just think there is some pretty important context regarding the genre of music she makes and the general aesthetic that does kind of explain a little bit of what's going on here. Going back to the late 70s and early 80s, we have artists like Whitehouse, Throbbing Gristle, Coil, artists who would actually go on to have a huge influence in the genre of industrial, a huge influence in the more underground, abrasive side of electronic music, and honestly, they're a huge part of their aesthetic, as influential as they were, was to be shocking and disgusting and edgy. Whether it's samples of someone screaming because they're being tortured or whatever, or we have, of course, a freaking classic example of Peter Soto's album that literally is just a series of interviews with people who have been sexually assaulted. I mean, this is just disgusting stuff. But this is the reality, is that, you know, you fast forward to 2020, a lot of the artists who are making industrial music, dark, edgy, abrasive electronic music, do take influence and have their roots in really fucking edgy artists. One of the largest artists today in the genre of breakcore is Goreshit, who literally fits into the subgenre of lollycore, which is breakcore that takes influence aesthetically from Lolita, which is like child hentai. I mean, yeah, it's fucking disgusting. But that's the bottom line, is this genre has a long history of just being edgy and gross and shocking. And, you know, Sewerslvt, being a person who's interested in making kind of abrasive, edgy, dark electronic music, it's you can see why she might feel the need to kind of to fit her aesthetic into something similar to so she can fit into the scene of artists that make that music. Not saying it's okay. I'm just trying to provide some context, because I kind of want to explain why someone might feel the need to do this shit. And again, I don't think it's okay. It sucks. But fortunately, Sewerslvt has, over the past year, as she's gained popularity, done a lot to distance herself from that aesthetic. She's, you know, I follow her. I've been following her on Twitter. She does seem like someone who is pretty left-wing, really sensitive, and doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and does, you know, has a lot of regret for associating with that kind of imagery. It sucks. Whether you or not you want to cancel her over it, that's up to you, but that's the important context. And lastly, there are some accusations going around of her plagiarizing a song. You know, when someone gets canceled, like all the dirt that's been built up behind them kind of just all comes out. And it is true that she did sample a song and she did not give credit to it when she sampled it. She has since given credit to it, but you know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, like, obviously, if you sample a song, you should really give credit to it. Plagiarizing songs is totally not okay, but, you know, frankly, at the same time, it's electronic music. Sampling happens all the time. It's part of what makes the genre thrive and survive, and I encourage artists to sample as long as you give credit. She should have given credit in the first place, but she didn't, whether she forgot to or was trying to steal. You know, I doubt she was really trying to steal, because she's now given credit, but regardless, I don't think it's a big deal, but that's also another thing I think worth mentioning, because people are talking about it too. And of course, all this cancellation comes simultaneously at the same time that she just released a new EP. She just released a new EP a couple days ago, and that release has been pretty much fucked by this whole cancellation thing. You know, you can't really promote an EP at the same time as being canceled. Maybe you think she deserves that. Maybe she doesn't deserve to have a successful EP release given her past behaviors. Maybe not. Up to you, like I said. I'm trying to be as neutral as possible in this video, but you know, if I forgot to mention something or didn't mention something that's a critical part of the story, please feel free to let me know in the comments. There's a lot of information going around. I'm trying to do my best to gather it all in one video, but I don't want to defend really shitty behaviors by not addressing it in the video, so please let me know. And also, if I accidentally said something that's totally wrong about Sewerslvt, please let me know in the comments as well. I don't want to spread misinformation about her. So that's my whole video. Hopefully this helped inform you. Up to you to decide how you're gonna handle it, if you're still gonna listen to her. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thank you, everyone, to liking and commenting and subscribing. My channel is growing very fast because of everyone who is doing that. So thanks so much. Punk Revolution.